Here we are approaching St. Petersburg.
Yeah, I picked you up from Tampa Airport and we headed straight down, driving a Tesla, which was kind of fun for the week.
The first thing that we did when we got to St. Petersburg was go have lunch at Doc Ford's. Had a nice view out onto the bay and kicked the week off with a couple of cocktails.
That evening, we checked into the hotel, and then that evening I wanted to catch a sunset shot, so we went down to the fishing pier by the Sunshine Skyway and went out there and snapped some shots. If you've never seen this before, this is the rebuild of an older bridge that was damaged in a terrible accident, and they left the long run-up parts that are on pilings out into the bay, built the new bridge behind it, but left the old as a fishing pier, and it's also kind of a cool place to go catch a sunset.
So the sailing school that we went to was Offshore Sailing School in Florida. They have several locations, but we went to the St. Pete location. The week started at a classroom in the Hampton Inn across the street from the marina. We took an hour and a half or so and talked over some terminology, boat parts, points of sail, and rules of the road. Just some important factors to get us started. These are the Colgate 26s that we were introduced to.
Our classmates for this was a family of 5 from Dallas and a fellow from Philadelphia named Fred, actually Downingtown, Pennsylvania, named Fred, and John from Columbus, Ohio.
And I think this is our first outing of the day. And there's River giving us a good talk and demonstrating some of the things that we were doing. And you can see how beautiful a day.
A lot of work into it and just gave it to Trevor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the beard?
Saturday we had really a lot of wind. You can see the flapping there. There's St. Petersburg in the background. But really a spectacular day for sailing. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't super warm, but just a ton of wind that day.
Here we are with Mark giving us instruction under sail.
Looking at things like sail trim and how to get the maximum out of each sail. We're luffing there. That means the sail's flapping.
Which also means that we're not capturing the energy from the wind very effectively.
It's interesting learning all the different lines and how they work. I will say the Colgate boats were set up really well for training. Every line was well labeled. This was on Saturday or Sunday, actually. You can see the wind was down considerably from what it had been the day before, and also the sea state. So it was nice glassy water, but we didn't have nearly as much wind for sailing.
It just go faster.
Shouldn't we have also put the engine in neutral?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were actually
You
going.
had all that momentum.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
much momentum. So the trick is learn how much momentum you got.
Sunrise on Monday, first day of our live-aboard training.
Yeah. And here we're boarding.
Breaking away with the home port of Bloomington, Indiana. You can see the little bit of the scale of our 47-foot Jeanneau. Really comfortable boat, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. We're going to get a little tour here. All of us just got here. So, this is real time. Well, hello, Skipper. All right, so this is the cockpit, and we got a double helm here, which will be super nice. Okay, we're moving down into the cabin, and there's the nav station. That right there is captain's quarters. So this is the galley right there, the salon, and then those 2 rooms back there are singles. So, oh wow, guys, are you looking at that? Are you looking at that? So we were provided with really great provisioning.
All right. Boom, boom. Okay, so all of this stuff we want to try and put up here, keep the bread and the things out of the sunlight. I don't think that was chilled. But the rest of that will go up here, and I'll run these back up to John.
Here's where we did kind of instruction, getting ready for our exams. It was a not trivial set of 3 graded written exams of almost 100 questions each. Our instructor Kelly did a really good job of helping us understand the material and connect the dots of what we needed to know. So this was 3 courses in one, what we call a basic keelboat, basically handling how to handle a sailboat of this type. That was the first book and the first test, and really covered what we learned in the weekend class, the day sailing class. The second one, Basic Cruising, got a little more detailed into the management of a large cruising boat, how to actually sail, some of the distinctives of, as you mentioned, weather helm, and how to deal with some of the bigger sailing dynamics. And it was harder than the previous one. A lot of what we learned in the original class overlapped what we have learned through the U.S. Sailing Club on Lake McBride. The final test was Bareboat Cruising, and I found really interesting, got beyond sailing per se and started to get a lot into the details of the systems of a large boat like this. You have a complicated electrical system that includes both 12 volt and 110 volt wiring and the mechanisms to handle that. You have engine maintenance and operation. You have plumbing, both freshwater for showering and other things. You've got the pump out head system. All of those, the refrigeration, all of those things are really important to be aware of if you're going to be on a boat for a week. You really need to be able to manage and handle those systems, quite apart from actually sailing the boat. And that third test was in some ways the hardest, but also really gratifying to have finished it. And for both of us to finish really strong on each of the tests.
Yeah, we did.